Donald Trump has officially declared Tucker Carlson out of the MAGA movement for his criticisms of Trump, especially around the Iran war. And you can see on screen Laura Loomer, who apparently caused this series of events of Trump that I'll show you declaring that Tucker Carlson is dumb, which is true, but on this...
Why are you gay?
Okay. I'm getting so disoriented by these so much. And I just want to caveat before I show you this. Laura Loomer is going to explain that she got on the phone and showed Tucker Carlson's statements to Trump, and that's what led him to say the stuff about Tucker that he did. And then Tucker responds with like a... Well, actually, I won't spoil that. With a really weird response. But the caveat here is everyone in this story, Laura, Trump, Tucker, all lunatics. Okay? And I don't use that word lightly. Yes, Tucker's advocating against war with Iran. I'm advocating against war with Iran. Okay, but that doesn't mean that Tucker's a reasonable person. All right? There's really two sides that people are falling on this, regardless of their political ideology, and the majority is on the we don't want war for a lot of different reasons. But just because I agree on that exact point, I don't want to make it seem like we're rooting on Tucker, who has that tongue. So let's watch Laura Loomer first, and then we'll look at what Trump said after the call that she's leaking here.
The president called me after the strikes. We talked for about 20 minutes on the phone. And it was really interesting, just chit-chatting about several things. And I just asked him, I said, Mr. President, are you aware of what Tucker Carlson said about you today? And he didn't know. I find it to be really bizarre that the top story all over the internet, spreading like wildfire the day of the Iranian strikes by the Trump administration, was that video clip that I showed.
So she has like a huge thing of Dunkin' Donuts or something, like a cup, podcast listeners, and she was just holding it up while she's talking and then taking sips in between. Something about that was weird. All right, so I was talking to the President of the United States about the war that we're in. And I don't think it's like a weird vibe. Just the quickest pause for the video amid all of this chaos. If you do appreciate these updates, please click the subscribe button, click the like button. Both of those are completely free, but subscribe is the most important to support what we do. Back to the video.
Earlier of Jonathan Karl talking about how Tucker said that the strikes were disgusting and evil. And you can pull up the Daily Mail article too, and you can see this was the front page story, spreading like wildfire, because of course everybody knows that Tucker is a demon, right? He says he was attacked by a demon, but I'm starting to believe that he is the demon, or maybe the demon, it was like, the what is that, Body Snatchers movie? You know what I'm talking about? The Body Snatchers movie? I don't know, maybe he really has a demon living inside of him. I don't think a lot of people really paid attention to that. Some people just thought, okay, like a weird story, but I think a lot more people should really take what Tucker Carlson said seriously when he says that he was attacked by a demon in his sleep. Like, it's kind of sounds like a mental health crisis, honestly, to say that you were attacked by a demon in your sleep. I think a lot of people just gave him a pass for that, didn't really explore that.
Okay, so of course, everyone on the left didn't. We all talked about it. You're correct, the right didn't give much thought to it. But let's be honest, you said equally as insane mental health concerning statements, so that should be. But yeah, I think that either Tucker got attacked by a demon, and after the attack, the demon, like, those shows where a ghost goes in someone, they're like, and it goes into them. It was like that, but up his rear end. It like crawled up there, which nasty to think about. Crawled up there, and then now is like operating him, or it was the 4 dogs in the bed. It's one of those two things, and I do think that it's strange Tucker thinks he was attacked by a demon. Let's keep going.
Now we're starting to realize there's something going on. Tucker Carlson torches Trump's disgusting and evil attack on Iran as MAGA base fractures. Conservative podcasting titan Tucker Carlson. And then it's so funny watching these like stupid articles, right? Because again, Philip Nieto, we discussed this on Loomer Unleashed last episode, if you recall. Philip Nieto used to work for the Daily Caller, which was founded by Tucker Carlson and his business partner, Neil Patel. So it's so funny, like get on your knees and suck his dick. Get on your knees and suck his dick, Phil. Why don't you? Oh, conservative.
So she is a person who struggles to, to like act like a person doing the impression of a person. Like I say with Tucker, he'll like try to pretend to be genuine. Tries to do a laugh like a human would do, but it's not really, because the demon that crawled up his butt is in there, making it really confusing. I think that's, again, by the way, if that is the theory, if it wasn't the 4 dogs, obviously it was, in his bed that scratched him, but instead one that crawled up and a demon crawled up inside of him, that would explain the laugh too, because that does sound like, play it one more time, Cole. Sounds like something's trying to get out of him. And he's just letting a little bit of it out. But then Loomer is no better at acting normal. Where like she's trying to make the why don't you just suck him joke, which people do a lot when someone is groveling whenever they're in a cringy fashion lavishing praise. You go, come on, just sleep with the guy, whatever. But in her case, she can't make it sound like a normal joke. So she's like, just suck his dick. You're like, oh my gosh, Laura, gosh, this is supposed to be PG.
Podcasting titan Tucker Carlson. I mean, come on, right? Like, it's got to just be a conflict of interest at this point in time for the Daily Mail to allow for Tucker Carlson's former employee to continue writing these puff piece articles about him, right? He leaked the story. Exclusive. Tucker Carlson detained at the airport in Israel. Bullshit story, again, published by Philip Nieto. Again, you see here, Philip Nieto is the author. Like, does Daily Mail just not have any journalistic standards whatsoever? Apparently not. Apparently they don't have any. So, yeah, conservative podcasting titan. You see the way, like,
oh my gosh, you didn't read anything else in the article. Say what you will about Tucker, and I've said a lot, and I really don't like him. And I think he's a very destructive force. And if you can have someone like him who has tried to argue Putin is a better person than Joe Biden, like, say what you will about Joe Biden, but let's be honest, Putin's worse. Okay, that shouldn't be controversial. If you're Republican, if you're Democrat, that should not be a controversial statement. And he tried to argue the opposite, or he's done all of this Russian propaganda. So yeah, he's very dishonest. He is a conservative podcasting titan, though. He kind of is. His numbers are pretty hot, and that should concern us. Just like it should concern us if anyone is watching Loomer Unleashed. Now, I don't know if anyone is. She's like, the last episode of Loomer Unleashed that sent shockwaves through the political world. So that's what she's kind of making public about how she had a 20-minute conversation with Trump where she showed the statements Tucker was making, like calling Trump's war in Iran evil. To which Trump responded, Tucker has lost his way. I knew that a long time ago, and he's not MAGA. MAGA is saving our country. MAGA is making our country great again. MAGA is America first. This is a little baby talking. And Tucker's none of those things. And Tucker's really not smart enough to understand that. So that's Trump's response, even though like 2 weeks ago, Tucker and Trump were meeting together and were very hunky-dory. But now Trump feels publicly called out. Loomer leaked that stuff to him or showed it to him. And now he's publicly declaring Tucker is out. So then what do you think Tucker's going to respond? Because his quote, again, is absolutely disgusting and evil. That's what Tucker says. Evil. And the reason I'm laying it out that way is because I'm also horrified by the situation now in the Middle East and us being at war. And I've explained that. But Tucker's about to call him evil and then saying, but I love the guy, which he does constantly. The former Fox News host told Oliver Darcy, there are times I get annoyed with Trump, right now definitely included, but I'll always love him no matter what he says about me. So this is what I'm getting really annoyed with. You have these right-wing hosts who say really descriptive, terms for heinous to describe Trump's actions. But then they go, but it's probably just someone's in his ear and giving him bad advice. He's probably still just a totally great guy to be president. And that contradiction is because they're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to have their Trump and eat him too, okay? Which is, if the way they can distinguish themselves in a time where Trump is collapsing in popularity, I think Tucker might be planning to run for president, is to have these criticisms. You're your own force. I'm different. I'm even more America first than Trump, right? That's what they're trying to do. But they know they need Trump supporters to also like them. So they have to do this weird, like, the bad people around Trump are convincing Trump to do bad things and it's evil, but I love Trump so dearly. Or you'll see this constantly with Tucker where he'll be like, Congressman Ralph, like, and that's not a real person, but just let's use a random example. He really is bloodthirsty. He just wants to see kids, he just wants to see brown kids die. And he just wants as much carnage as possible. But I mean, he's a really sweet guy. I have dinner with him all the time. He's like a real delightful guy. I love him. He really does this constantly. Tucker does. And you're like, how do those two things go together? And do you know how they go together? Tucker doesn't believe anything. So whenever I say extremely harsh criticisms of Trump or think he's a very destructive force or shouldn't be president, it's because I believe those things. And it drives me crazy even when I'm not on the show. And then if I were to interact with Trump for some reason, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, hey, let's have fun. You're such a fun, zany guy. I would also be uncomfortable and annoyed around him. But someone like Tucker doesn't have any real principles. So right now, he happens to agree with me on this particular decision of should we be at war or not. But not because he believes anything, but he just sees where the political winds are blowing. And he's just trying to carve out a little niche for himself. And so then when the workday's over, he really doesn't mind grabbing a cocktail with people who he just said, get off on the idea of kids dying. Like that's the character of Tucker Carlson.